I know. Wait, we're ready. We're ready. We're ready. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for being here today on the special, for the special meeting. So we do have an announcement. We have your name?
Reina Rodriguez.
Reina Rodriguez.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm going to make a quick announcement in both English and Spanish regarding language accessibility. We do have interpretation both online and in person. I will start with our instructions for online. Muy buenas noches a todos y bienvenidos a esta reunión. Durante todo el proceso de esta reunión tendremos interpretación simultánea disponible. Para acceder a la interpretación simultánea, si usted está usando una computadora, a favor de hacer clic al icono que apareció en mundo abajo de su pantalla. Después de seleccionar el icono de mundo, usted va a seleccionar su lenguaje de preferencia. En este caso será español. Van a silenciar el audio original y estará lista para participar. Si usted está usando un dispositivo móvil, usted necesitará seleccionar los tres puntitos que indican more o más opciones. Después de seleccionar los tres puntitos, desliza hacia arriba, va a seleccionar interpretación del lenguaje, español, silenciar el audio original y después oprimir done o activar para que comience la función. Good evening. If you are joining us online, we will have simultaneous interpretation throughout the meeting. Because we may have any comments in Spanish made or participation, we do ask you to also join interpretation if you are online. To join the interpretation feature, you will just select the world-like icon at the bottom of the screen. And once you select it, click on English and you're good to go. It will be business as usual unless somebody speaks Spanish, then you would be able to hear the real life interpretation. Likewise, if you are using a mobile device, please select the three dots that indicate more. So click on language interpretation, select English, and you will be good to go. For all of us here in person, we will have interpretation in person as well. We do have equipment at the near the exit. My colleague and myself will be here to support. If you see anybody come in who needs language access, please feel free to refer them to us. I will repeat this in Spanish. Hola, muy buenas noches a todos los que están reunidos aquí. Si hay alguien que necesite interpretación en español, sí tenemos equipo de interpretación disponible en la orilla de la sala, justo al pie de la entrada. Estaremos aquí para apoyarles, a mi colega y yo, para servirles. Gracias.
Thank you. Here we have, for all members of the public wishing to comment, must first state their name, the city in which they reside, or they're representing a group or agency name, the name and the organization they are representing. For those attending via Zoom, please submit your comments using the Q&A feature at any time during the meeting. Staff will hold and submit the comments to and read them out loud to the policy board during the appropriate public comments opportunity as directed by the chair. Right now, I'm not sure if we have any board members, and if there is any board members on Zoom, please raise your hand so that we can acknowledge that you are present. Thank you, Mayor Leon. Okay, so with that, today is January 7th, 2026, and it is 5:42 p.m. Roll call, please. This is for the Fresno County Rural Transit Agency special meeting.
City of Coalinga.
Here.
City of Firebaugh. City of Fowler. Fresno County.
Here.
City of Huron.
Here.
Oh,
Oh.
here.
Here. Okay. Kerman. City of Kingsburg. City of Mendota.
Here.
City of Orange Cove. City of Parlier.
Here.
City of Reedley.
Here.
City of Sanger.
Here.
City of San Joaquin. City of Selma. We have quorum.
Thank you. Okay, we can move on to the public presentations. In this portion of the meeting, it is reserved for the persons wishing to address FCRTA board on items within the jurisdiction but are not on the agenda. Any from the public wishing to address the board at this time may approach the podium. Okay, hearing none, we can move on to the next item, and that's consent items. Is there any items on the consent that any member on the board would like to pull at this time? Any from the public? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent item?
I'll make the motion.
Diane
Second.
and second by Kalinga Nathan. Excuse me. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, so is there other business? And that is, any other business? Okay, then this meeting is adjourned. So now we can move on to the, thank you, Janelle. For the Fresno County, oh, it's the same one. Sorry. For the Fresno COG Policy Board, I know that was the quickest one ever. And so we may have, you taught her well. 544 for Fresno COG Policy Board. Roll call, please.
City of Clovis,
Here.
City of Coalinga,
Here.
City of Firebaugh, City of Fowler, City of Fresno,
Here.
City of Huron,
Here.
City of Kerman,
Here.
City of Kingsburg, City of Mendota,
Here.
City of Orange Cove, City of Parlier,
Here.
City of Reedley,
Here.
City of Sanger,
Here.
City of San Joaquin, City of Selma, Fresno County.
Here.
We have quorum.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we can move on to, I has rural transportation on this. The Measure C renewal, is that the one? It's because you still had the rule on here too. I don't know why. Yeah, but the Fresno County, it shouldn't be on there anymore. Okay. All right, the transportation consent items. Is there anybody here that would like to pull any of the consent items from the transportation? Any from the public? Hearing none, so we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I think that was Huron. Was that Huron? Okay,
Affirmative.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay. All right. All right, the next steps, right? All right, let's see, here we go. Measure C renewal expenditure plan, next step. So, Robert?
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. So we're here tonight seeking additional direction from your board after the December 18th meeting. The direction was you approved the resolution supporting the Measure C expenditure plan and implementing guidelines. And there was specific direction to approach the county first in seeking additional support, resolutions of support. As you know, we've been following PUC statute during this process that requires both the County Board of Supervisors and a majority of the jurisdictions representing a majority of the population to approve the expenditure plan through a resolution of support. Your direction at the December 18th meeting was to seek the county's approval first by getting it on the agenda at the earliest possible time, which was the next meeting was the January 6th meeting yesterday. The county declined our request to do that. The county also declined our request to place it on the next agenda, which was January 20th, returning a note that said that they are not declining to produce the or agendize the item entirely, simply that they would request that it go out to the jurisdictions first. And so there are a contingent of those on the policy board who felt that this was a, kind of a tactic, an indication that the county, based on prior statements that had been made over the last year, that this was not going to be something that the county was interested in passing. And the fact that it was not being agendized was an indication of that. And so we are at this point seeking further direction as staff as to how to continue going forward, whether we are to now begin approaching the jurisdictions individually, or what you would like us to do. And so that's, there is no recommendation tonight. We are just seeking additional direction.
Mhm.
Thank
So-
you. I think Supervisor had something to say. We can just hear from the county. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can certainly respond to that. When the motion was made to have us put it on the agenda first, I first feel like the board doesn't take direction from COG when to put things on the agenda. We don't direct other people to put things on their agenda. So for me personally, I was frankly offended that we were directed to put something on the agenda. Secondly, I don't know personally, I mean, my unhappiness about this expenditure plan, but I don't know that I would vote to keep it off the ballot. I haven't decided that. If it came before the board, unless, this board does something different today. I think that Supervisor Mendez has been public in terms of his opposition. I've been clearly public about my opposition. But I think it should go through the cities and then come to the board. That's what I've requested. That's what I think we ought to do. But I was not going to respond to the direction by COG to put it on the agenda simply because you directed the Board of Supervisors to do so. And that's really where we're at.
So then why should we take the directive of the supervisors to tell us to what direction we should take? We already know what cities support the measure. They've been very consistent in supporting and actually voting through it. So it's a waste of our time. And that's what I think is happening, is a delay tactic to get us to go to the cities. So at the last hour, when it comes to you guys, it's dead at arrival. That is the
Well,
comments and the
I
statements
can
that,
assure you- no, well, I
those
can
are the
assure you that
statements that
there's
were
no
made.
tactic by me to delay this and then vote no. I'm telling you that straight. I've been very straight, and I'm telling you straight now. I don't like the measure. I don't support it. I don't think it's going to pass, certainly with 2/3 vote. And so that's where I'm at. But you can decide to do whatever this board wants to do. If you want to rescind the expenditure plan and go out to signatures, that would probably meet what was inevitably going to happen anyway, because this process has been hijacked, which has been allowed by this board. So whatever you want to do. But I personally am not going to be directed to put something on the agenda because you tell us to do so. Not going to
but
happen.
likewise here, because this is a majority of the mayors that made a decision.
Look,
And that's what the
hold on,
motion-
hang on.
Wait a
I'm
minute,
sorry.
you haven't-
Like,
excuse me.
this is, I just don't feel like this is going to go anywhere
Maria,
if we walk
Maria,
right into arguments. I think
I'm the
that,
chair, please respect my position. I was speaking, you don't like me when I interrupt you, please.
I
Okay,
have
so
given
I'm
you the
speaking.
floor.
You're
It's,
not giving
it's
me.
your time.
Exactly.
You're
Please
still
let-
arguing with me.
'cause
Go
you keep-
ahead.
Please stop. Thank you. So the thing is that, like I was saying, it's been already, the motion was the motion.
Yeah.
And when we make that motion, we respect the motion and we follow through with the motion. It doesn't get changed after it's done. It's never done like that in any city council. So therefore, that's the reason that we went that way, and we wanted to see what the actual board would do, and you proved us right by not trying to put it on the agenda. Because if you didn't want to reject it, and you haven't made your mind, then why not allow it to go on the
Because
agenda?
we want to hear what the other first of all, your mayors, you have city councils. City councils decide. You don't definitively decide. You bring it before your council and the council decides. Mayor Dyer supports this. We don't know what the Fresno City Council is going to do. The same with others. So, these have to go before city
This has been the
councils.
process since I've been here, okay?
Mhm.
And it comes here, and then it goes to the cities later. It doesn't have to be the cities first and
In
then the county.
2022, how was the process? Did the Fresno
The
County?
process was done, made a mistake. They made a mistake at that time.
Mhm.
It was done wrong. And we were aware of that after the fact because we were made aware. So regardless of all of that,
Mhm.
to me, it's like, we already know, I'm sure that the
You
mayors.
don't know what I'm going
I'm
to do.
sure that
You
the
don't
ma-
know. Yes, go ahead.
I'll give you the floor once I'm
Sure,
done,
go ahead.
okay?
Yeah.
I'm sure that the mayors are advised and are updated. They update their council. And I know this because even the mayor pro tem from Orange Cove told me that they were updated with the measure and how it was going and the information that they were receiving so that they were up to speed of what's going on with the measure. So it's up to the mayors. And if they didn't do that, then that's something that you may ask them. But I know that I talk about the measure all the time. So
Yeah, but I hope you're
that-
not getting consensus from your council about whether they would support it or not, because that would be a violation of the
why
Brown
could
Act.
that be a violation if I supported the last one?
Yeah.
And we're not
Well, no,
taking
you can
we're not
support it, but-
taking a vote.
Okay, so then you don't know what your councils are going to do.
Oh, my goodness. Well, it's irrelevant. All I'm saying is that it was a tactic. Okay, Mary, go ahead.
No, go ahead and finish.
I was just saying that's to us, it felt like it was a tactic that just to delay us because you refused to even acknowledge that we were trying to put that. It's not we're telling you what to do.
Yes, you were.
Well, just like you're telling us what to do. You're saying you
told
want
me
us
what
to
to
go
do.
to the cities.
You're supposed to go to the cities. You don't get to decide. You have
And
councils to go before
it
councils.
doesn't go.
Councils
it-
vote on
yeah,
whether
it
they
doesn't
adopt
go-
this or not.
Again, there is no actual process. They have to be this way first or that way first.
True.
It's whatever this board voted on at that time.
Right.
And that's the motion, and that's what we're honoring, the motion that was voted on and was approved.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's all I'm saying.
Sure.
Go ahead, Mary.
Okay, I haven't been here for a while, but I have tried to keep up with what's going on. And I asked Robert to send me some information today, and he sent me what is it called? Hold on. Final implementing guidelines. And I see a lot of red, I see a lot of yellow. I didn't get through the whole document, but so is this the final document but you haven't finished it yet? That's my question one from staff.
We may not have sent you the cleaned up version. That was the document that went to the board December 18th.
Oh, okay. Is there anything that changed from this document?
There were two minor changes. One was to allow vehicles to be part of the to be an eligible expense as under the existing street and road maintenance program. And then the second change was to require the county a range of 7 to 15% be spent on disadvantaged, underprivileged communities, DUCs, as opposed to the 12 to 15% that was originally listed. Those are the only two changes.
Okay. So I see, I think for the area, we've put 5% for the regional roads. Is that correct? And 1% of that goes to the airport. So there's 4%. So I see State Route 99 upgrades. I see 180 extensions, which I know Mendota's interested in. I see freight route safety enhancements and county arterial roads. And I just want you, at least in the small cities, to know that none of this is going to get done if we leave that amount at 4%. And I think we need to, as cities and as the transportation piece of this, all of us give a percent or two
Yeah.
so that can be changed and moved to make it more sustainable, because all these roads, we go to Fresno all the time. we're going down Manning, we're going down Reed, we're going down Academy sometimes. And none of those roads will get any action. There'll be enough probably to do some planning. And that's it.
The 180, I think there is good clarification on the 180 as far as for Mendota, you were saying the expansion for the connection to I-5. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
That was actually, those monies were moved to other regional projects because it was recommended by staff that we will not be able to have enough funding to ever cover that.
I know.
So as far as the other projects, because this is one thing that I did ask at the board meeting when it was the Board of Supervisors that they were talking about the regional, and I said, yes, I understand that we hear about the regional all the time. And I asked if there was any regional projects that were identified. There was none. I have not heard of any regional projects that are actually currently identified that are waiting or are in process of being worked on or any planning on it. So I have not heard of that. I've asked very numerous times. So it's the ones that I do know that Reedley has been wanting to work on is Reed to connect to,
Franklin,
yeah, right,
one of 'em,
right.
yeah.
And honestly, from what I've been told, is that if we work at the regional projects, that the ones that would actually get the funding for a regional would be always like the Shaw and 99, because those are the ones that are gonna always receive the regional funds. So we would have to compete with Fresno to get those funds for Reed and 180, or like Selma, and the other one is, what's the other connection?
Another.
And
major
Selma,
project-
for Selma. I know there's.
Floral.
Okay, Floral.
Floral. interchange.
So, and that one was what, how much is for that one? 400, is it 400 million? Is that for Floral? And I think, Moses, I think you mentioned it to me earlier on that connectivity for Selma.
The preliminary figures, and these are very
Yeah, figures,
preliminary,
preliminary.
would be very comparable to Shaw 99, 368 million approximately at this point in time, unless there was another alternative. For example, the Dinuba overcrossing, which would have to be a mile north of that interchange just for spacing purposes. But those are preliminary numbers at this point.
Mhm.
Nothing
Hey,
definitive.
can you identify yourself, Moses?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Moses Stites, Executive Director, Fresno County Transportation Authority. Thank you.
And then that's one of the examples that I'm saying, like with the connectivity for 180 to the I-5. That's the reason why we moved those funds, because we only had 100 million that we could,
Right.
and that's what
Right.
the regional percentage was higher then, and we still didn't have enough money.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to avoid is have all these monies sit in the regional account, like the regional budget, for projects that are not gonna, it's just gonna sit there. That's what happened with 100 million that sat there for years. And because we could never reach that amount. And every time we tried to, with inflation, it keeps going up higher and higher and higher. So we would never see that happen. So what we were
There-
trying to avoid is not let money sit there for years, and when we can use it somewhere else.
Madam Chair, can we stick to the subject at hand, Mary? I appreciate
Thank
your
you.
questions with regards to the actual substance of the measure,
Mhm.
but I think that boat has sailed. And so tonight is sort of, what do we do
Yes.
based
exactly.
upon after what staff has? So if we're going to talk the measure again, it might be a long
Well,
discussion.
I think we need to send it back to staff and have them rework it and have some kind of a meeting with the county and the city of Fresno, because those are the main.
We've done that already, and we've tried. This is not like the first time we're discussing this. We've tried throughout the entire process. And there's been times that they refuse to even attend the meetings, and they just refuse to attend. And numerous emails were sent, and we continue with that process. That's why we're here with the people that are been supportive. But thank you, you're right. I was only trying to clarify, because I do know that she was not involved with the process, and you didn't know exactly what's been going on, and you're just trying to catch up and get the information necessary. But yeah, you're right. I would think.
And I'd like to second that. I think we should
Yeah.
just move forward with what
You're right.
on the agenda. I don't even think we should be talking about
Right.
these type of things, as they're not included as the action/discussion. And to be honest with you, even if they were, I don't think anyone's position would change. I think that everyone that's here has an interest in this or understands what their interest is going to be. And so I'd like to just to get it straight up, what do we want to do?
Okay, thank you. And I just want to make an announcement. We have Juan Mejia that is attending our meeting from Fowler, City of Fowler. Dyer. Great.
Question.
Can I get,
Okay.
can I get the floor back yet?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
you
that's
started
what
it.
we're waiting.
Yeah, that's.
All right, go ahead, Maria.
Thank you. I'd like to come back to Supervisor Bredfeld. I understand. I feel it. We stepped on your toes. I apologize for that. How do we move forward? What are our options here?
Well, I think it should go to the respective cities and decide, those cities make a decision. It then comes either to the board or the transportation authority, whatever the procedure is. Robert can determine that. And then it'll also come to the board. And I can tell you, I'm not sure which way I would go. I don't like the measure, but I'm not sure which way I would go. I don't think it's going to pass the 2/3 if it goes to 2/3. But that's what I think ought to happen, similar to what I think happened in 2022.
Yeah, I have a question for Robert, and then I have a comment that I want to make, and it pertains to what the supervisor said. It's my understanding that the measure goes before the Board of Supervisors twice.
That is correct.
And the first time is to see whether or not they support.
That is correct.
Okay. And then the second time, after all the cities
That is correct.
would vote on this, then the supervisors get a second time, and that is to determine whether or not they put it on the ballot.
Correct.
Correct. It's at that point is basically ministerial. I
Sure.
mean, right.
So the reason I wanted that clarification publicly is because I was the one that made a motion last time, and I believe Vong was the one that seconded it. But I made a motion to approve the guidelines and to ask COG to work with the Board of Supervisors or the county to put this on the January 6th ballot or agenda. And the reason was I wanted the cities to be able to hear from the county first, simply because there had been a lot of comments that have been made about the fact that this was dead on arrival, not necessarily by Supervisor Bredfield, but prior representation, but this was dead on arrival. And what I'd hate to see happen is for all the cities to go out and to vote on this and do what they are going to do, and then bring it back before the county, and then it get voted down. So that was the reason I had asked for the county to hear it first. And so that was my hope, for people to hear the county's position. And then secondly, I do know and we've heard it in here, there's been at least 2 citizens group and maybe 3 that are going to pursue their own measure, perhaps through signature gathering. And if they're going to do that, then, that's their prerogative. They can do it. It has nothing to do with the COG. And so I guess we have 2 options, really, as a board. One is we can discontinue, say we've done our job. We had a steering committee. We've taken input from community members. We've hired consultants. We've done a lot of work. We've came to a consensus as to what we wanted as a COG board, and we were prepared to go forward. I guess we can discontinue all that work and see if another group picks up the measure and runs with it. Or we can continue to take the current course and ask each of the cities to go before their respective boards, pass a resolution, as well as the county. And then if some citizen group decides that they're going to run a measure, then, they'll do a parallel path or whatever they choose to do. So I really think that for us tonight, we just need one of 2 things. It's not about going back and rehashing the measure. We already approved the implementation guidelines, and we already approved the allocations.
Right.
For us, it's, do we as a board decide to continue to go forward and take this before our respective jurisdictions?
Can I
Sure.
say something? There's a third option. The third option is to, if you want the county's buy-in, to do some more negotiating about getting the county's buy-in, which this body has ignored And, ad nauseum, I've said the same things over and over. There is a third option, and that is you can negotiate with the county to ensure its support, which would mean changing to some degree the expenditure plan. That's a third option.
Right.
I think the change would be, from what the 22 measure was, the transit to 11%. Is that what you're suggesting? To go
Well,
with
I mean,
that
we'd have to sit
negotiation?
down. I mean, we have trouble with, the 30% overall for transportation, and not enough for the roads, which I've been very clear about. We're really not that far apart, but I think this body has ignored the concerns of the county, and that's why we're here where we're at. So that's a third option. But if that wants to be ignored like it's been ignored all along, so be it.
Is there any other comments?
No, I just wanted, first of all, two statements. First is, I don't think we directed the county, we directed our staff
Mhm.
to come and ask if the county would put it on. So we never directed the county to put it on. We directed our staff to
Mhm.
negotiate with the county. So I don't want to make it seem like we were telling you what to do. You still have the opportunity to put it on or not. I think that's the prerogative of the county. And second, I think the county has been at the seat as long as Clovis has been on this seat,
Mhm.
as long as every other city and the steering committee. And so I don't know where and what, but with regards to Clovis, the things that we have commented and that we have asked for the steering committee to consider and to adopt and to clarify, we have received those. So I just want to speak that not that there has been no acceptance of communication from this board or these board members. I think a lot of us have gotten feedback in those negotiations, whether it's through this process here or through our representative in the steering committee. I wanted to ask Robert or our county council, with the PUC code, there is no direction as in it has to go to Board of Supervisors first or it has to go to the cities first, correct? It's sort of a choose, either way is legal. So that way it's not like we're jumping the gun, meaning jumping step one just to go to step two to get the county approved. That is totally legal. I just want to make sure we are legal in our direction to staff to try to get in front of the Board of Supervisors.
Yeah, and this is Brian Rome. I'm agency counsel. I am not aware of any requirement that it has to be done in a certain order, but we do have special counsel on this item. That's Steve DeBon. He is with BBK, and he can elaborate.
Thank you, Brian. That is correct. There is no, the state law merely says that the county and a majority of the cities representing a majority of the population have to approve the expenditure plan before the Transportation Authority may approve the expenditure plan and request the county to put it on the ballot. So you are correct. There's nothing in the code that requires any particular order of approval.
So if I may, I've been on this board before, and this is kind of my second time coming back, and I've been almost a year on this board and got kind of thrown right into the Measure C thing. And interestingly enough, current county representation is different, but I did pay attention that the county sat here for a year with the rest of us. And much of the time when we were giving our comments and our information, the county gave nothing. They sat there.
Yeah.
And complained then later to the media, got the media unhappy, said things that I think were taken out of concept, acted like that we were bad actors. And I take offense to that because the majority of the mayors wanted this to move forward and we worked together as a team. I myself submitted like 3 pages full of changes to the implementation guide, many of which were taken and put in. At the last meeting, I even recommended something that was very unpopular with the folks, and they walked out. And this is nothing against Gary, because Gary just jumped in the seat. And but I do want to say that I think we've been trying to work together as a team to try and accomplish this. And I do question whether or not that this is some kind of stall tactic, because there was a lot of time that people could have said something and people could have been a part of the team. In fact, I remember members of the steering committee coming in and out and leaving and being unhappy and saying, you know, this wasn't going to work, rather than sitting the course and trying to, you know, and I know a lot of things I put in there they weren't happy with, but we worked through it. And so that's just my comment that, you know, we've worked through this. We've spent a lot of time on this. I don't have the answer of what to do, but I think that everyone here has put a lot of time in.
Thank you. You're correct.
Could I appreciate what you're saying, but I can just speak for myself. Since I've been coming in, it's been at least a half a year of 7 months. I have felt completely that what I'm saying is ignored. And the concerns that my constituents have, I think, have been ignored. And I've said it over and over ad nauseum to, I'm just kind of smiling when I say it now. But I appreciate what you're saying. I still would hope that there's some way that this could move forward. I think there has to be some give and take. And if people aren't willing to do that at this juncture, fine, then you'll decide which direction you want to go, and we'll go from that. It'd be a shame, though, since I believe almost $1 million has been spent at this point on this process. And it would be a shame to the taxpayers if, in fact, the plug gets pulled and it's just punted to the people who really who threatened early on to go and do a citizens initiative and get signatures, that in fact, all of these dollars and all of this time would have been wasted, but they'll utilize all the resources that they were given. That would be a shame and a waste of taxpayer money.
Right, okay.
Actually, it kind of makes me think about something. Since we have used like public funds, right? Like, does that put, Brian, does that put us in a position of like exposure, like litigation?
And I am going to kick this question directly to outside counsel. This is one of the reasons they were brought on. So,
Yeah. Does it expose you? I don't think so, because this measure, to the best of my knowledge and to the best of any information that I have, this measure was prepared in good faith for it to be placed before the voters by the COG, or started with the COG and ultimately by the FCTA. So based on the information I have, I don't, this was a good faith effort. There were definitely public funds that were spent, but those were all spent in favor of the public measure. If the COG or any of the agencies decide to move not to move forward with it, a private or a third party can or cannot take any public information and use it for themselves, because it is public information, but that's not anything that the COG can control. So based on the information that I have and the statements that I have heard, I don't think there's a risk of that, but I do believe that we should be clear that the discussions that we're having today only relate to the decision by this agency to move forward or not, and how this agency will move forward. It doesn't relate in any way to the public or to the potential private entity, if in fact there is one out there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. And then after Mary, I want to open it up to the 2 board members that are on Zoom,
Okay.
so I can bring it to the public. Thank you.
So this gentleman said that the county was quiet the whole time. I don't remember that happening, but I just have a question to staff. Did the county come up with any ideas of changes?
They weren't
And
participating.
if they did, were they addressed? Has there been discussion?
They weren't
with the
participating. They actually weren't participating because Buddy was involved in the process and then he walked away. He said he didn't want to be
But
part of it.
they never sent in a list
but-
of things? Because I've been told that they have.
There were,
Recently, Probably.
there were comments related to, there were several comments specifically related to the implementation guidelines that the county submitted that were brought forth to both the steering committee and the board. The county technical staff, public works staff commented, yes.
That was my
At the steering,
concern.
yes, at the steering committee level. I think we're talking about the distinction, if I understand correctly, between kind of the political involvement versus the
process.
technical, the technical involvement.
Mhm.
Well,
Because I think they were actually addressed some of those concerns, right, in the guidelines? I think that's what you had
Yeah,
mentioned.
there were certain technical issues that we attempted to address, issues that were kind of had some certain physical impossibilities, technical improbabilities or impossibilities that we had to address that the county pointed out, and we had other public works staff point out that were problematic, and so we simply made those changes to accommodate those points. But they were relatively minor. I think the distinction here is that we're talking about with regard to major policy issues, and in terms of, especially before that point when we were discussing allocations.
And I think I've been very clear as the county representative, the position I think we needed to take, I think ad nauseum. I think we have a planner from Public Works who spoke last time, Mohammed, who's still here, who clearly expressed the interests of the county. I think those were ignored essentially. So I think the county's position has been very clearly stated a multitude of times.
Yeah, is there anybody on Zoom from the board members that would like to speak? If so, raise your hand, please. Ray, are you still on? Are they still on? Yeah, okay.
I am, but I'm at the airport. But I agree with Nathan's comments, Mayor Bosberg's comments, and I think we just got to move forward. I think the county should agenda it. We can, share it once more. I don't think we're trying to push it down their throat, but they are their own governmental body that could do their due diligence and entertaining the measure and providing their advice at that point in time, voting it in or not. And I think it's just part of the process. Let's just take care and let's just check the boxes there. Then we'll come to the cities. Then we'll go back, right? And I think that's the most obvious thing and simplest route to take, just to get this done and move it forward. Those are my opinions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there any?
Yeah, no, this is Juan, City Fowler. I concur. I'm sorry that I was late. I've had connectivity issues, but I concur with what Mayor Ray was just saying.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Uh-huh.
All right, is there, now that I think we are, no, any more comments on the board, so I can open it up for the public?
Yeah, I have another question.
Okay.
So if we pump this ball over, right, to T for all, does that give it like other groups the green light to also move in on because that would be tragic. And I feel pinned, to be honest. I feel pinned by both parties, by county and by T for all, because now I feel like we're just the freaking monkey in the middle here. We need to figure out how to move forward. And we need to figure out how to do that in a dignified and respectful way with each other, and just to sit down and have a conversation and negotiate and figure this out. Because,
Okay.
The rural communities are going to be devastated by this. And if we don't get a measure going, we don't get a measure passed, we don't get a measure on, we're all going to be very affected by this. And so I think that, I know that we're all frustrated. This has been a long process for everyone. And I think that we all have our communities and our constituents in our forethought, and we're fighting like hell for them right now. But I think that we need to just take a breath and come back to the table and figure this out.
Mayor Pacheco, I couldn't agree with you more. As I said, I think there's a third option, and that is to sit down and come up to a compromise and an agreement that the county can live with, that all 15 mayors can then jump on board and we could all be united. But the way it's been, that's not been the case. It's been clear. I've been ringing the alarm for a long time and I've been ignored, which means the county's been ignored. And so this body can go forward. Transportation for All can be very happy that they got what they wanted, but it's not going to be good for the people, as far as I'm concerned, that I represent. There's still time to negotiate something. We've reached out to the city of Fresno. I'm not sure that they wanted to really negotiate anything. We're still I'm still here. But if this body's decision is to just cut this off and move forward, we're prepared to deal with that as well. But there still is time, I think, to come to a compromise.
And Mayor Pacheco, it looked initially like our outside counsel had a response to you, but I may be mistaken.
Yeah, it was.
No, I thank you for noting that. If I could just briefly respond to the couple of comments, Madam Chair.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I just wanted to be clear that that this agency, I think the language that struck me was when we said punted over to the outside organization, and we're not at least actively doing anything like that. I just want to clarify that for the record. I think it's very important to make it clear that this is just our decision, making decisions for us.
Yes, thank you very much for that clarification.
If I may, Chair,
So-
Chair Bredefeld, are you willing to put this on the next agenda? I mean, I'm just going to ask
Not
formally
as it
here.
is now. No, I'm not.
So we're getting a formal,
Yes.
yeah. So I just wanted to be clear because you and us can all take it currently at our next meeting, any of the cities potentially.
That's
So we're
correct.
just asking you as well. And so I think that gives us a clear sign of what we need to do here, but I'll wait for the public first. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. Go ahead. Oh,
Go
did you have a question?
Yeah, I just
Real
wanted to
quick.
point out that I understand there's a lot of talk about different, one particular signature gathering group, but let's not forget that the media has been all about another group that has been talking about this as well. Neither of which Fresno COG can control.
Right.
So no matter what happens, these are variables we don't control. All we can control is what happens right here.
Thank you.
So I just want to point that out.
Thank you. Go ahead. Mr.
So
Oh, was that Juan? Juan, did you
yeah, I had my hand up. I don't know
oh,
if
I'm
you guys
sorry.
can see.
I was thinking
No,
that was from before. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I was listening to Mayor Pacheco and the conversation taking place. I am brand new at this, so I just have a question. A basic one is timing. What does timing look like? Do we like? I know that I heard Supervisor Bredefeld say we still have time. But how much time? Like, what kind of deadlines are we looking at? I've never been through this, so I just want to know, going into this, what our timing is like for either option or all three options.
From the last time that we had this discussion, the county clerk also mentioned that he would need something in his office before July. So we're technically already behind schedule. Because
July
it takes some
2026?
time. It takes time to get everybody scheduled in their, on their board meetings, on the council meetings. So if we want to do all this, we're in January. And if we want to do all this by July, it would be almost, and then for the attorneys to review everything as well, we're already behind schedule. That's the reason why we keep pushing to get this done as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Is there any other questions so I can actually now open it up for the public if everybody's okay with their questions? No one else?
One more question. Has there been legal review of these implementing guidelines that have been approved by an attorney?
And the answer to that, council member, is yes. The implementing guidelines have been vetted by BBK and have been approved. There were some admonitions that I believe I discussed with you that were brought to the board's attention at the last meeting. But there is no legal impediments to the implementing guidelines as written or as approved.
Okay, now I think we're good and we can move.
Question.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Has the county done an analysis on, to see like if this doesn't pass, like how it's going to affect us all?
I don't think we've done a formal analysis, but I think like you, if a Measure C doesn't pass, it will have a detrimental impact on county residents, just as it will on every city that's here. Which is why it's important that we pass a Measure C, but it has to be the right Measure C, not one that is the one that is before us.
So, but if this board decides tonight that we're no longer moving forward,
Mhm.
how is that going to affect the county?
Well, I think you will have played right into the hands of Ashley Swearingen and Transportation for All, and they'll go and do what they threatened to do many months ago, which is do a citizens initiative. And this body will have failed their constituents. That's the way I see it.
And then if that measure fails, it would fail
The
at
problem-
the hands of the county for not moving.
At the hands of the county. It will have failed, as far as I'm concerned, at the hands of the people that allowed this process to be hijacked. But that's another story. We can have tons of blame. There's still room to negotiate. I'm ready to meet tomorrow, the day after, the day after, the day after, the day after.
What?
So you would
What-
rather have, just so I'm clear, and I'm not being disrespectful in any way. I truly want to know, like, you would rather have like the measure be done rather
do you
than
mean
the
be
what
done?
we have right now?
This
Like,
is a
so the measure
terrible
that- I
measure
guess-
before this body. I want to negotiate and get a good measure so we can all be united and bring something forward. That's what I want.
And it was presented at the last meeting, which was to reduce the transportation and to put more into regional. And that's why this board approved the one that we have.
I
Because
understand.
we had many public engagements, other public works engineers that were involved in the entire
That's fine.
process. We're not just making
You can
decisions.
do what,
on
you
that.
can do what you want.
So again, now we need to just move forward and.
what you
I
decide to
need
do.
I need to
Thank you,
open it
Chair.
up for the.
I guess
public.
I guess I was done. We were, I guess.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was done, I guess.
Good.
Fine.
Yeah. Mhm.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted, for the record, Miguel Arias, Fresno City Council Member, for City of Fresno. And I want to provide some context to some of the comments that have been made today. As you know, I was a member of the FCTA board a couple years ago when this process began. And at that time, the chair, Buddy Mendes, made it clear that he was completely oppositional to this process developing. He attempted to stop the process on a few times with formal notices and claims and allegations. He and the county refused to participate in any of the meetings for months and months on end. And yet we have consistently invited him to the table. We have invited their technical staff to the table. We have taken their input. We have taken their suggestions. We have made modifications. Our mayor's motion at the last meeting included clarifying, because they were concerned that Measure C money could not be spent on trucks that do the actual repaving. We clarified that. They had indicated that they were going to get less money under this proposed measure than the current measure. We clarified that they were going to get a lot more money. According to their experts, they needed $800 million. This measure gives them more than $1 billion as a county for their current network of roads. And we actually had a meeting with county supervisors and city officials to look through what other things they want to negotiate. And frankly speaking, what they essentially requested that we cut public transit by half. And we went through the impacts of that. We would have to eliminate all evening routes, all weekend routes, all routes to the job centers that we've created, the Amazon distribution centers. Road transit would be devastated. And we simply said, we agree to disagree. We would not be able to devastate public transit for bailing out the state or federal government on regional projects. That is their core responsibility to fund, and execute. We took other suggestions that they requested, incorporated those suggestions into the work. Everything from their assumption that we were requiring them to build bike lanes in every street in the county. That wasn't true. The bike lanes are responsibility of the city of Clovis and city of Fresno, which we agreed to. Any misinformation or clarification that they needed, and rightfully so, because they refused to be at the table for months. They had a lot of bad information. We spent an hour clarifying the information, incorporating their changes that they requested, but we agree to disagree to not cut public transit by half because it would devastate urban and rural residents for the pleasure and the benefit of bailing out the state and federal government, whose responsibility are regional projects. We've also made it clear that this measure gives cities 4 times more money for existing roadways, which is what residents have complained about. As new freeways got built, our existing roadways have gone to shambles. And that was the goal of this measure. For 40 years, we have built freeways. It is time for us to fix existing roadways. And so this starting to feel like the county wants to hold us hostage for further shakedown and renegotiation at the 11th hour when they have refused for months to get to a table. And all of us, at the request of our mayor, cleared our calendars before Christmas and New Year's break to see if we can make some progress. And simply put, their demands are completely unacceptable for the people who spent months negotiating, thinking through. At one point, we said, we're ready to go line by line on this 1,000-page document. And they said, no, we're not ready to do that. We haven't read it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then, and with all due respect, we agreed that we're gonna remain friends, that we agree to disagree, and that we're not gonna lose friendships over our approach to this. But I call on you as a body to bring this to closure, because to the point of the deadline, if any outside group is gonna pick up the ball and do a signature gathering effort, it has to start this month. The county knows that. The county clerk made it very clear to supervisors. If there's any delay beyond this month, there'll be no opportunity for an outside group to even have a chance at getting to the ballot. If we engage in formal negotiations and renegotiate and rewrite the whole ballot initiative for the request of the supervisor, and if that effort fails, Measure C expires.
Yeah.
Even if it was to pass, we now are up against a 2/3 threshold of voter approval, which is extremely difficult to obtain. So I want to respect all the appointees that you guys made to work on this for months, and ask you to continue down this path and bring closure to this conversation and allow the public to pick up the baton, as has been said today, and try and get to a successful new measure that fixes existing roads and lets the governor and the president fix regional roads. That is fundamentally why we pay federal and state taxes for, and it's time for us to focus on our local roads and let them take care of their responsibility. Thank you for the time.
And I'd like to respond to that. I'm not sure what meetings and requests you're talking about, Miguel. I wasn't requested over the last month to meet with you or the city of Fresno. Not at all. I've been here every month expressing the concerns that I've had, which have been ignored. So I'm not sure what you're talking about, where there's been meetings going on and people haven't been attending and you've been requesting meetings, because it hasn't involved me. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. I've been very clear with this body why this is problematic. I am not interested in a measure that tries to force people out of their cars to ride bikes, buses, and electric scooters. I'm not interested in that, and the people aren't interested in that. The people in Clovis, I guarantee you, are not interested in that, nor are they the people that I represent in the city of Fresno or the county. You say that representatives haven't been here. I've seen Mohammed here before. He can address some of the things that you've mentioned. This is a process that really, I've said it's a shit show. It's been hijacked. It should have been 15 mayors and a county representative working this out. All these transportation people all said, we're going to work it out. Then it comes back to you guys because you're the elected officials who make the decisions. But it's already been decided. You've decided because you punted it to them. And the fact is, this is a bad measure. I'm not going to support a bad measure, but I've been here all along saying the same thing over and over and over, and it's been ignored over and over and over. And now we're at the 11th hour. So there's not been, oh, we're compromising at the 11th hour. You all haven't been listening, and now you're here saying we got to get something done. And what's going to happen is I assume today you'll pull it, and then it'll go before the body that threatened you, that if you didn't give them what they wanted, they were going to go to a citizens initiative. And frankly, I'm not sure that the lawyer's right, that you spend $925,000 and a citizens group that's been working all along uses it, that's exactly legal. But we shall find out.
Well, I just wanted to say the measure that the other group is working on is a measure that was developed by the COG funds. So that one's trying to go to the signature gathering as well. That's taxpayers'
That
money.
one, I don't know. I
That's
don't even
the
know what
22 measure that was brought up here and was presented to the COG with the new measure that they wanted us to support, which was from 22. They made a couple of changes. That's taxpayers' money, and it's going to a signature gathering from the other group. And there's been articles already where those statements were made. And when you're saying that we are trying to get people out of their cars, where are you getting that from?
read the plan.
Because
Read the plan. It's all about
Okay, so is it-
climate issues, bike lanes, buses,
Those are the
30% is
same
for
things that
buses.
we've had all along.
Fine, but
And
now-
the transportation and for the transit, it's actually going to service more of Fresno. And we had this discussion at the last meeting where it was because now Fresno has to actually
Their
have
streets are not going to be
transportation
repaired as
for
promised.
students
Whatever,
like Fresno
whatever,
Unified.
whatever you want to say, the
That-
bottom line
that
is
is the
people's
fact.
streets will not
you
be
want-
fixed like they've been promised.
Cut for-
That's why the city's borrowed $100 million.
For you.
This is not going to do it.
Let her talk.
Okay, I was just wanting to say, the other thing I wanted to say is that you keep talking about your roads, right? Your constituents are not going to support this because it's not going to help well, it is, because this is focused on local roads. The one you're pushing for is more for regional. Okay, it's more for regional
It's not
projects.
enough
It's
to
not
fix the
for
roads.
local roads, but we're already with public comments. We're not going to go
Well,
back
he
and
he
forth.
would like to.
I know, but you brought it over here and now we need to stop that and
I had to respond to what
No,
Council.
you don't have to.
Yeah, no, I
respond.
do, because
you
there's
do.
misinformation that
This is
said,
where-
and I have
this
to
is what
respond.
You guys don't understand. When the public says something, and whether we like it or not, we had our opportunity. If not, we're going to go back and forth like
That's
we're doing
okay.
already.
That's all right.
Not okay.
That's why we're here.
I'm closing it for the board. We're not going to have this discussion anymore. It's the opportunity now for the public to have
Okay.
their input, and we're done with our
We get a
board
motion to
comments.
move on.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Mohammed Ali with Fresno County Public Works and Planning. I just wanted to mention that I've been involved with the steering committee and participated as an audience in those committee and raised my concern about the allocation plan from the beginning. And there were a lot of discussions basically outside the steering committee that I wasn't, involved, and the allocation plan was basically brought to the steering committee to rubber stamp it. The steering committee as a whole, I've been involved with Measure C since 2006, in the 2004 effort, in the 2022 effort, and in this one. And this is by far the worst measure that we're putting on the ballot. Unfortunately, COG did not manage this whole committee properly. The technical group was completely out of the discussion. We had no say in how this expenditure plan is being put together. And it was being basically put together by many non-experts that really don't understand the needs of the region. So right priorities are not put in the allocation plan. And that is the biggest concern that I had. And when you mention regional is only addressing freeways and expansion, that is not really true. County has done several regional projects with the regional allocation from 2006 and also in the 1986 that have served the region. And ignoring the regional part is a disservice to our transportation infrastructure. So we need to really look at the allocation plan. In other words, when Supervisor Berdefeld mentioned we need to start the discussion from step one, he's absolutely right. we cannot just change the implementation guideline and feel that the whole measure is properly structured. So we need to go to the first step, look at the allocation plan, make sure everybody's needs are adequately addressed in that allocation plan and not just public transit or city of Fresno. It needs to serve everybody. And the county's comments and concerns have been continuously ignored from day one. So Mayor Pacheco asked what happens to the county if this measure doesn't pass. That is a big concern for me as a manager to have to really address our projects. But I can live without a project for 2 years until the next ballot, but I cannot live with another bad measure for the next 30 years. So that's something we really need to be concerned about, putting something on the ballot that is going to be hurting our children for the next 30 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I get what you're saying, but for many years, again, and this will be, if there's no other comments, we can already move on. All right, I think the board's ready and they've been patiently waiting. Oh, for public? Yes. Is there anybody in the public on Zoom that would like to speak at this time? If so, please raise your hand. No? Thank you. Okay. I forgot what I was going to say now. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for the information. So we're closed with the public comments. There is no other public comments? If not, then we can bring it back to the board.
Thank you, Chair. I think part of the confusion is this is not a public works measure. This is a transportation measure, which means it is roads, bicycles, buses, all of those things. The first measure was intended to expand our freeways. The second measure included public transit. And so I think that's sometimes where the confusion is. However, having said that, I think everybody in our community understands the fact that we need to fix our roads, which is why 65% of the allocation, 2/3 of the money was going towards fixing local roads, neighborhood roads within our jurisdictions. And I think that's important, but that's not to say that we forsake our commitment to public transportation. And as I said before, 10.3 million passengers a year ride our fax buses in Fresno. 2.6 million ride our fly in our airplanes. So you can almost 5 times more people ride in our transit systems. So it is important, and more people are taking advantage of our public transit. Why? Well, there's a lot of reasons. The economy, the inflation, people can't afford to buy gas, buy a car, pay for insurance, whatever the case is. We're seeing more and more people dependent on public transit. Now, folks that don't need public transit don't see that. But I do as the mayor, and I've heard loud and clear from people in our community, which is why we have to make sure we have funding set aside for that. But I do want to say this. I've always been very, very flexible in terms of willing to sit down and to negotiate. And I think we've done that for the last year with different groups and so forth. And I've committed hundreds of hours to do that. And I know other folks on this board have done the same. But I have to believe that any further negotiations involving the allocation is going to mean that the city of Fresno would lose money, would give money away. And I can't do that to the folks that I represent as the mayor of Fresno. In fact, just hearing some of the percentages that have been thrown out would mean us giving away millions of dollars of the dollars that we would have allocated to us to fix roads in the city of Fresno. And it would also mean millions of dollars that would be taken away from our public transit system. Again, I am not in a position to do that as the mayor of Fresno. And although I'd love to sit down and negotiate with the county on this, but I recognize this. The city of Fresno is 53% of the population of Fresno County. The county of Fresno represents 13% of the unincorporated area. The rest are these cities, including myself, or Fresno and Clovis. And so 53%. And I just don't feel like I'm in a position as a mayor to negotiate away millions of dollars of City of Fresno dollars. And I want to say this in closing, then I know Mayor Monatua has something he wants to say, but too much is at stake. In 2022, we had the luxury of taking our time. If the measure passed, great. If the measure didn't pass, we understood. We had 2 more years to put together another measure. We don't have 2 more years. We don't have 2 more years. If some form of measure, whether us as a COG or a citizen group, doesn't move forward and get a measure passed in November of 2026, we're not going to have money in 2027. And is this the best measure? Probably not. Was the 22 measure the best measure? Probably not. But this is a good measure. And it's going to give us billions and billions and billions of dollars to fix our roads coming forward. So I think we need to make a decision tonight. We either discontinue ours and hope a citizen group picks us up and runs with it, and I know there's 2 or 3 out there, or we continue with this process. So with that, I'll defer to Bong.
Well, I think when we were all here together, we voted as an entire group to take ourselves out of this process, and it was a unanimous vote. And so to create a committee of citizens and not of electeds, we had the discussion back and forth, but it was unanimous. And that's when we said, yes, we do need one measure for one county. And so in a process of negotiations, you always lose something. We didn't get what we wanted for road expansion, okay? Because we are an expanding city, we wanted to be able to use more than 5%. We argued and we wanted to push it, but it stayed at 5% the whole time because Clovis can surely use more than 5% on road expansion because that's how our city is. But I understand the purpose of this measure. And so I appreciate what City of Fresno has just said. The most unfair of this measure is to that city. That's where all the tax dollars come. And the City of Fresno is going, we can do our own. We can probably get 100% of all the taxes that come. But no, we want to share with the entire county. And we are probably number 2 potentially of the tax dollars that come. And when we assessed it, we probably get no more than 30 cents on every dollar that comes into Measure C. That's just our analysis. It may be flawed because of some regional, but we're not even getting the bang for every dollar that comes in because we see this county as a whole. And like Mayor said before, it was regional. And now let's allow it to move into where it's local roads, where that is where the higher percentage is. A lot of people have knocked transit, but transit did not improve at all, 1%. And I don't mind any reduction as long as there is a reasonable fix for what we are just currently doing. Not cutting anything, this is just to uphold what we have. And so that's all it did. It just kept transit. So everything moved from regional to local, which I think all the cities acknowledge. And Mary, tonight you asked what I asked the very first time this came up.
I've asked it before, yeah.
Are any of us willing to give up 1-2% to put into regional? Any of us, because mine almost doubled, 3 to almost 7%. So was I willing to go, okay, I'll just take 6, give 1 back. And so none of us were willing to do that. We have enough bad roads that we would be able to use all those dollars. With regards to the process, the measure passed. It wasn't unanimous, 10-4, but it passed with a direction. The direction was to try to get it on the Board of Supervisors to get their thumbs up or thumbs down immediately so we can act. And I asked again tonight of Chair Bredefield, will you put on the agenda, please? And clearly he said no, he would not agendize it to give it a thumbs up or thumbs down so that we can get something clear in the entire county so we know what to do. So with that type of direction, we are left with the implementation guidelines, not the best, but it is what the majority of this board approved. And it's time to just say, we're done with it. The process has been stopped. There's no way for us to move forward like how we would want to move forward. Let's abandon it. Let's close it off now. And I think that is the wise thing to do right now to protect all our citizens. And as Mayor Pacheco said, if we don't, we have no chance now of seeing if we can actually get a measure this November to see if we can get continued funding. And we're starting our budget process, and slowly we're going, okay, let's look at it without Measure C. And we already see the pitfalls of our budget cycle without Measure C, as we are starting just to do initial analysis. And so this is something all citizens need. And so that's my recommendation. If there's no more comments, I would.
Is that your motion?
Is you're
I
making
would
a
make the
motion?
motion to just
And I'll
abandon it.
I'll
I still have something to say.
Yeah, so we'll wait.
Yeah.
Let me just,
Well, you know what, as
Second.
leaders, we're here to lead, guys. We're not here to give up. I don't want to give up. I don't know about you guys. I mean, if the supervisor's sitting here saying that he has a path forward, let's try to work with them, not just drop the ball after what have we been at this thing for 2 years? Is that what you guys want as leaders? Just to hope somebody else will pick up the freaking ball? I'm not in that camp.
well, I think the reason we're here is because the refusal from the county of working with us. So,
No, that's not why we're here.
and he stated, Mayor Vaughn already asked one more time if you put it on the agenda, and you said no. So with that, go ahead. Where were you at again?
Well, I would like.
Oh, I think Ray wanted to say something. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I just want to say that, we're trying to kill a good, solid Measure C because there's an assumption that there's something out there that's perfect. I don't know what that is. We have had nothing of that sort presented to us. The due diligence of the county in conducting a formal analysis to provide a report to give us some information that we may consider was never done. The seriousness part of the county just, I don't think is there. I think there's a whole lot of advocacy for something that doesn't exist, but we got the best thing that we could create in the number of months that we were able to create it. And we need to move forward. We just need to make this happen. I don't think we dropped the ball. I think the dropping of the ball was whoever didn't do their due diligence to provide substance that could give us something to work with.
Are you there? Ray? I think we
I'm
lost you.
sorry. I'm at a, I guess
can you-
probably missed it all. But I'm just saying that the due diligence of the county, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, due diligence of the county in creating a formal analysis to provide us some substance that we could consider because it wasn't done. It just tells me that there's a lack of seriousness. There's a lot of energy, but lack of seriousness in really helping us getting it to this supposed perfect bill. I don't want to kill a solid good bill for the imaginary perfect bill that's out there. In the policy world, they say don't kill the good for the perfect, right? And so I think we just got to move forward with it. The county has had a lot of time to provide some information. What I do know is that 80% of the damage caused to our rural roads are caused by industry. I've mentioned this before. And why do farm workers, why do working families, why do all of our residents have to lift that burden, right? So then I think what we got right now, 85% of the voters of the county are going to definitely benefit. We can never catch up to having the roads in a good position in any of our cities. We are on the right track. Past 40 years, the county and the region has had the opportunity to build and grow what we've been able to build and grow. The loss of cities and their roads. And I mean, as a mayor, I totally understand what my residents, complain about with the potholes and just everything else. That's a quality of life issue for our families. Our hardworking farm worker families are young. So this Measure C is the best that we got right now, and it's better than whatever is imagined that isn't there. So let's move forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam
Juan,
Chair?
let me just take it, Juan,
Go ahead,
just-
sure.
and then I'll bring it to you.
Sure.
Juan, did you want to state anything, Juan?
No, I seem to be in agreement with Ray and with everybody else is saying, and I know that the issue, I don't want to quit. I don't want to give up, but I know that there's a potential that we continue to negotiate with the same outcome. And then, I mean, for me, time is of the essence. And I think we have reached a point to where we have to make a decision now because we can continue to negotiate and just blow past we're already behind schedule. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Go ahead. Mary, and then you, okay.
Is there a possibility we could give one more chance to the county to do some negotiation with the COG and with the city of Fresno? And maybe have that final decision made at your next COG meeting?
Yeah, I think we're long past that, sorry.
I think they tried that and the outcome was still the same. It's not, the needle's not moving because it's the same information that was provided as the changes that they wanted, which will affect Fresno tremendously. So we can go with Gary and,
Okay.
and then we can move on from that, please.
What I would be willing to do is for the 20th, actually the meeting is on the 27th, not the 20th. I would be willing to put on the agenda discussion regarding this and possible action. I don't want to speak for four other people. So they could have the option to move forward and either accept it or not accept it, or have a discussion and do nothing. So I'd be willing to do that out of respect for this board and what you're requesting. But I can't promise you what the outcome would be. So they might take an action, they might not take an action, they might have a discussion and it lead nowhere. I'd be willing to do that.
Okay.
Our COG meeting would be 2 days later
Okay.
on the
so
29th.
Is there any other?
So to bring it to the cities and then to the county? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
No.
I would bring it, an item on the agenda for our board to discuss. And that way all four can weigh in, all five can weigh in. And they may take action to approve, they may take action to reject it. They may take no action and then the COG, I guess, meets 2 weeks after that and you can
2
decide
days.
what you want to do.
That would be too late because then we would have to decide by then, as it is, we're already behind schedule. So I think we need to just move on and I don't know who had the floor from, was it Long or was it Dyer?
That is your next meeting? There's no meeting prior
No,
to
our
that?
next meeting is on the 27th. Yeah, is it the
Mhm.
20,
Can't be.
Tuesday?
Robert, you mentioned two different dates when you requested the meeting. It wasn't a 27th, that was
I
18 or
understood it to be
16.
the 20th. My phone has died, so
Yeah, it was the 20th. So it's moved on to the 20, because we did get the emails for both dates rejecting those two dates.
Yeah, it's the,
So-
I believe our
so-
next board meeting, you can look it up online, is the
Yeah.
27th.
Yeah, that's because the first two were rejected. So the only one that you have opportunity now is for
Well,
the
January
27th.
6th was rejected.
I think he sent another email. Didn't you send a secondary?
yeah, my understanding was it was the 20th.
Yes.
I may have had the wrong.
You
date.
just had
You had
the,
the wrong day. It was this, yesterday we met,
yes.
and then it's the 27th that we meet next.
Well, I think right now we're in a critical situation, so I think the rest of the board needs to decide what we're going to do because we are behind schedule already. So, whatever the board decides. Vaughn? Or Dyer?
Mayor Leon wants to second the motion made earlier by Bong.
Okay, I repeat the motion?
Well, my motion was just to stop because I think we're going to end up in the same spot. And so it is prudent upon us to abandon and leave it as is because our direction has already failed from our staff. And our staff is asking direction, what do we do? I did what you say, they did not honor it. And I said, well, if they don't honor it, then we respect that. And now it's time for us to just say it's done. And so I think that we all have honored the process all the way till now. And if it can't move forward, it's time for us to abandon it. So that's my motion.
And I think Ray said he'd second. Ray?
So I just want to make sure that that it's clear. I think it's by what you're saying wrong is that to move forward, right? And if you could restate it so it's more comprehensive in terms of it moving forward.
No, I motion that we no longer move forward, that our work is done and that we've tried. Because of its failure to move forward, then we leave the measure as is. We no longer work on it. We as a COG, our work is done. No more.
I would,
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
second
Good.
that.
Then yeah, that's exactly what for me, that's moving forward, like moving on, right?
Okay, thank you, guys. So there was this, a motion and a second. So we can do a roll call vote, please?
City of Clovis.
Yes.
City of Coalinga.
Yes.
City of Fowler.
Yes.
City of Fresno.
Yes.
City of Huron.
Yes.
City of Kerman.
Can you
Ci-
come back to me?
City of Kerman.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just having a hard time. Yes.
City of Mendota. City of Orange Cove.
So what did you just say?
They said, I said that, me?
No, I didn't hear what she's. Do not want to cut you. Okay.
So I don't, it's not that we're abandoning this
You know,
process.
now you're discussing the thing to start a switch of vote. We're doing a vote now.
That's fine, but she needs clarification too.
She doesn't need
because-
clarification. She
So
voted.
you want her to just vote on an
She
assumption?
voted no.
The only thing I was saying is that
This is not
The-
the way it's supposed to go. You don't like that she voted no.
okay, go ahead and take the roll call, but I was just,
City of Parlier.
yes.
City of Reedley.
No.
City of Sanger.
No.
Fresno County.
No.
So what I was gonna say, it's not that we're abandoning the process. We're not getting anywhere. It's still gonna be abandoned. Because they're not willing to approve it. That's what I was trying to
No, we're
say.
willing to compromise. You're
They,
not willing
they
to.
want the measure that they chose
That we
to
chose.
pass, which is to reduce the percentages. That's what we're not coming to an agreement. So it's still not gonna get anywhere.
Tell me you don't-
Congratulations, you wasted $1
We
million.
tried- This is where I'm saying that you may not know this. We've been trying for the past year, just like Dyer and Bong said. We're here, they want the 11% for transit, which will affect Fresno, and he would have to do layoffs. Is that not true?
What's that?
That's
He
not
thinks
true.
that it's not true that it would not affect you if the
No, I didn't say
percentage
that.
for.
I said
just-
11%.
Fine.
Not true.
We already
You-
did the vote. Let's move
Can you
on.
tell the result of the vote?
Was the
Yeah.
vote final?
Yeah,
No,
what was the result of the vote? I just wanted to hear that.
Motion failed.
Can you give the numbers? What was it?
7-5.
7-5, okay.
Mhm. That's what, I just wanted to make it
But-
clear that it
Yeah,
did
I
affect,
need to know what that means.
it doesn't get anywhere.
No,
No.
it's
Unless there's,
The motion was to,
motion failed.
yeah, the motion
It-
failed. We still have to decide what we're gonna do, right?
Yeah,
Because
it's not gonna get, this is where I'm
Yeah.
trying to explain.
we
that
can
it's-
still keep, we
we're
have to
still
keep discussing until we get some direction.
And
to
you
stay.
know what's gonna happen? It's still gonna delay this process. That's what I've been trying to explain. We
That's
voted,
true, but do
So-
you want to delay it a month or do you want to not have a measure?
we are, well, that's what's gonna happen because it's
No.
been.
So now so we've gotten through, we
Okay,
have a
that-
dead
that's
motion.
what's gonna-
So
they-
we're.
Motion failed. so
Motion
it's just-
fails. So, okay, so
It's
that
still
was
discussed.
option number 1 was to discontinue. We still have option 2 to pass or option 3 to negotiate with the board. We have another chance here. Are we going to bring it back to the board on the 27th?
I think if I understand, Supervisor, you said you're willing to put this on the ballot for the for the 27th.
Yes, I'm willing to do that, but I prefer the third option, which is to negotiate so we can get something accomplished rather than bringing something to the board that maybe won't pass, because I suspect it won't, but I don't know. So I would suggest that we meet, Mayor, really with a great deal of respect and see if we can come up with something that we can all get behind, which will be successful for this entire county.
And what is that? The same presentation that was made here before, which was to reduce what we had already worked on.
Well, yes.
To be a steering committee and
Yes.
people that supported.
And what came up does not pass muster with a lot of people. That's why the
That-
motion
a lot
failed.
of
So why don't we sit down and negotiate and try to come up with something that we can all agree on?
Would you?
That's
would-
what I'm saying.
Would you be willing to do a special meeting with the board in advance of the 27th?
I'd be willing to do a special meeting with you, Mayor, and try to come up with something that's agreed upon. That's what I'm interested in.
Why only one person?
No, no,
It doesn't have
that
to
can't
be,
work.
we can have his entire staff.
This is
Vaughn
the
can
whole
be there.
body.
We'll bring
You
our
can't leave
staff
cities
and try
out
to
of
come
it.
up with something. That's what
Can't
I'm
leave
interested
cities
in.
out.
That special meeting.
I don't know.
Mayor, I'll buy lunch.
I mean,
No, it's just to keep
That's for
discussing.
all of
Doesn't
us.
To do any of the
Right.
other two, but we're trying to see whether you convince us to go on your side or we convince you to come to this side.
And that's
So
what we're
that's
gonna-
sort of what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I just want to say to those who voted no is we have what we have. There's nothing else to discuss. There's nothing else. So in other words, the road is ending.
But that's not
And
true,
so-
Vaughn.
It
We can have a compromise. We can
concur.
change- We're all elected. We can change this any way we want. You don't want to change it. I get it.
But no, to change it, you have to bring it back here.
So-
It's not with you.
So?
Yeah, so all we
So?
want is for you to put it on the agenda so you can vote yes
All
or
I
no.
want you to do is compromise on something that the county can get behind and that the
And
other
that's to
four mayors that voted no can get behind, and we can have 15 mayors agree and a county agree. That would be the best thing, Vaughn.
But the thing is that you're wanting us to change it. That
You
is
should not have left the
county
table at the
has been
beginning.
saying from day one, and that's what's not going to happen. This is why we're still at the same, we're not going to move.
You don't know that that's going to happen
That is what's been happening from day one
because you haven't been listening.
to you, because it's
Correct.
right away or the highway,
And
correct?
four mayors.
And it's
four
my way or
mayors.
the highway.
It's the
That's what
county
he's
and
been
four
saying.
mayors you
That's
haven't
what
been
Bud's
listening
been
to.
saying. He's been saying.
Four
dead
mayors have voted
dead
against the
on
plan too.
arrival. He said dead on arrival.
That's one person.
Well, he said he can guarantee everybody else felt the same, and it's been happening. and it's
This is
been
not about Buddy Mendez or anybody else. This is about trying
It's
to
been
come up with something
fact.
that's a compromise that 15 mayors can get behind
The thing
and the
is
county
that-
can get behind. That's what it's about, Mayor
a
Beltran.
change that what we're not willing to change. So how are we going to come into a consensus to change it where it's not going to happen? This is why either way we vote no and that doesn't go anywhere. Guess what? Still not going to happen.
So I have.
So whether we vote yes or no, it's still
So I have a question. For those that voted no, you're in favor of giving the county more money to fix the arterial roads in between point A and point B,
regional
rather than fixing the roads in your own city?
don't
Because
think
I look
that's
at,
the
hold on, I look at Mendota's PCI and I wonder what's being represented here right now, because you guys have some of the worst PCI out of everybody. If I were you guys, I'd be saying, hey, you know what? Because
no.
what the
They're at
county,
30%.
no, no,
We're at
because what
60.
let me tell you what the county wants. The county wants to either take the money from transit, which Fresno's not going to go for, or they're going to take it from the individual cities, which is going to equal less money for you guys. And let me tell you, I have not been happy with, none of our residents have been happy with the amount of money that we've been getting. And I know if I take it to our residents and I say, hey, you want to spend the money on the county roads, which to be honest with you, I don't agree with hardly anything TFA says, except for this. Why are we subsidizing state and federal roads? That's ridiculous. The state just says, oh, we're not going to pay. So then we jump in and pay for that. That's BS. They should start paying their share. We have the highest gas tax in the nation and we have the worst roads in the entire nation. It's ridiculous. So I'm not in favor of most of the stuff that TFA put in. The bike lanes, that kind of stuff, totally against it. I agree. Our people aren't going to use it. Our people aren't going to use the public transportation funds like everybody else. In fact, 2 meetings ago, I showed the gross misuse of the funds of that. But guess what? This is about give and take. This is about compromise. And from what I understand, we've had a year where we went back and forth and compromised about different things. And what I haven't seen, and nothing offense to Gary, because he got here at the end of the show, he did 6 or 7 months in, but at the beginning, I did not see a lot of that coming from the county saying, hey, these are the things we want. I feel like that and a lot of those people that said no, also that were no sowers from the say, those 4 mayors, I didn't see a lot of constructive stuff coming from them as well. All I seen was, we're not doing this. We don't like the process. So to tear down the process immediately and say, hey, we don't like the process. For those that are saying you want to continue to move forward with the process, just remember that are voting no on not moving forward. The ones that said no to begin with, those didn't support this process that you guys are voting on right now. They didn't vote on that at all. They said, we don't want the process. We don't like the process. Let's abandon this idea. I wasn't in favor of like, hey, let's let a huge group of people come in and do this. But if you look at the results from the last elections, from the last deal with this, a lot of these folks are saying, hey, if you don't include us, we're going to use our resources to make sure this fails. Now we have 2 different groups that are basically saying that.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if you guys, and so what do? We invite them all in. We try and make a good deal with everybody.
In good faith.
And what did the lady say to begin with? The best deal is when everyone walks away unhappy. It's unfortunate because there is no best deal. I agree with that. I know there's not. But here's the thing. We're up against a time crunch. We are at a time crunch right now to where if we're going to continue to move forward with this, we're going to need a 66 point whatever % to go for it. And if you think that the county is going to vote for this, if there's not a drastic shift, I would be super surprised, since a lot of the different members have publicly stated that they're not supporting this. They don't support the process. So why would we vote in favor of delaying this, understanding that information? Do you think something's magically going to change?
No.
I don't.
No.
So I would like to put a motion right back on that says we abandon this process. After the discussion that we've had, I want to put a motion back on that says we abandon this process and we let somebody else pick it up, because I don't feel like there's anything's going to change. And our local roads are the most important thing.
Mhm.
It's not going to be the inner roads
Right.
that connect the cities.
Let the citizens decide what they do.
It's a point of
Because-
order. We already did that.
So there's another question. Well, we're still having
Well,
a discussion.
I was waiting to respond.
I think because he's
Okay,
the one
go ahead, sir.
clarification.
Go ahead.
I want to clarify, this is like my first meeting come here, so I apologize if, because once I heard I want to end it, that hurt me, because you go to Mendota, there's bad roads.
Yeah.
Very bad roads. And we're in America, first world country, and we're having third world country roads out there. It's ridiculous. It's embarrassing.
It is.
So when I heard that, I can't, because every day when I go out to a store and where they say, Jose, what about the roads when they get fixed?
Mm-hmm.
They've been like that since I was a kid. Since I was a kid, I've been hearing this. I'm 29 years old, and I've been hearing this since I was a kid.
Yeah.
So once I heard it was that, I like, what
Wait
the
a
heck?
minute.
I don't want to abandon it.
Right.
These people deserve nice roads.
And that's why, Jose, I was trying to make that clarification, because I know that you have not been the one at these meetings, just like how Mary was asking questions and I was letting her get the information that you needed so that you can make a decision based on what information you have, and not just make a decision like spur of the moment with no information, right? So that's what I was trying to do. And
So I
also-
apologize. I'm sorry.
that's what I was trying to do, because I know that the PCI for Mendota is 30%. Reedley and Parlier are at 65. So there is no comparison to what Mendota's roads are. And Victor said it all the time. It's like third world country roads. And that's why I was trying to make sure that he had the accurate information. And you wanted me not to clarify that so that he could stick to his no.
Well,
But
you
now
told-
I'm
you
sure
told
that
him
now
no.
that he knows what we were talking
You don't know
about.
what he's going to do. You don't know what he's going to do. He's exactly right.
motion on the
to no
table.
move
New
this
motion
process
on the
forward.
table.
You want- No, it was me. I was supposed to
Yeah, I
speak.
did. I put him.
Okay.
So I have a.
I-
Go ahead.
And I just wanted to finish there was discussion. I just wanted to say this to Mendota.
Trying to speak.
Okay.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
didn't know if you spoke. I'm sorry, Gary. Go ahead.
Let me have him speak because he's been waiting patiently.
Mayor, you don't like the bike lanes and all that other stuff. I agree. And we should be changing that because that money ought to be spent for roads. And Jose, you're right about the roads. I don't believe that this measure is going to solve the problem because there's not enough put towards the roads. And I appreciate the strength of character that you all say, let's move this forward, because that's what should happen. Because what's going to happen is what was probably going to happen all along was if it didn't go the way Transportation for All and Swearingen and her group wanted, they were going to go anyway and get citizens a ballot initiative. Again, Mayor, you say about the 30%, and I understand your position and facts, but if this fails, it doesn't help you to have nothing going towards facts. It's much better that that 30%, you take 5% and put it towards roads for the people in your city that I also represent, and that's what we're battling over. Not 11%, not turning 30% to 11%. Understand you got a fact system, but I don't think everybody should subsidize the fact system. I believe in the fact system. I believe in public transportation, but I also think we have to commit more money, which I've been very clear, than 65%. That's where we're at. That's the difference. And so, yes, you may, if you compromise less for facts, but more for roads for the people in your city and in the county that I represent. That's what we're talking about. That's the way I see it.
I just wanted to just give some clarification to, those who voted against it. For Mendota, you are getting 3.35 right now percent. With this new measure, you will get 0.83 plus 400 guaranteed, 400,000. And so the vote no does not mean this dies. The vote no just means our job is done with the measure. The measure is just, it's complete as it is, whatever.
The COG
it
won't
is.
be involved.
Yeah, so we won't be involved in it anymore. That's it. And so it's not to say that this goes away. And so the other thing is there's something that was written in there, and I think it was written for small cities. It allowed for infrastructure.
Yeah.
Okay? Because a lot of the small cities says, I got roads money, but I got no sewer, no water. You know what this measure did? It said, okay, you can use it for that. They added a paragraph in. We really help. Big cities like us, we have developers putting that in, so it's okay. But for you, it'll actually get to improve the road so that way you can build. And so that's what's neat about the measure for the small towns. Really, it's a compromise between, do you still want to fix the 180 that goes to your town, or do you want to fix your town? And this time, a majority of us said, let's just fix our towns.
Right.
And what's written in the measure is that in 10 years, we can look at it and really revise it. There's a look back at 10 years. That gives us a chance to go, roads enough are fixed. Let's reorganize. Let's redo this. And so that's why I go, okay, there's a lot of protections in here. There's a lot of things in here for cities. Okay, 4 cities. And so that's why I'm encouraging to go, no, don't. The no vote is only a procedural vote, not a no vote to kill. So I know that it may have been confusing with me saying let's abandon. It's abandoning the process, not abandoning the measure. Okay, so I just want to be clear.
Oh, thank you for that.
So
Appreciate
I
it.
think that's because I think when we said that, you may have thought, oh,
Yeah.
no, I don't want to ban a measure.
Mhm.
No, we're not banning the measure.
Okay, thank you for that.
I'm glad you clarified that. That's why I was trying to clarify that for you to understand that that's not what that's not what we mean. But I think Maria wanted.
Yeah, I just have a question before we go to voting. So if we are to discontinue this evening, and a public group moves this forward, who then controls it after the measure is passed? Does it come back here, or do they have it? Who controls it after?
Right.
Yeah.
Depends on what how it's written.
Mhm. So, oh, I see Ray. Hi, Ray.
So if we
So-
have no other
So
discussion,
if there's no other discussion, no other comments or questions? I think
Actually, I have one. I think we should provide move on Nathan's motion. Happily second that one, and provide Jose the opportunity to change his vote, even if it's only symbolic. But yeah, I think this is the best measure that we could possibly have. With all the information we've been provided, with the thousands of residents that have been engaged, and I know in my community, it's all about the roads. All right, and let us not put a burden on our community that should belong to somebody else. This is where it's at, and this is how we should move forward. We've done our work. You're right, Mayor Vong, and we've done a great damn job about it. You know, it wasn't easy. you know, slip, trip, fall, but we get back up and we got it done, right? And I'm very proud of all of us, and let's get this done. Thank you.
So I
I
think we,
think public comment is done. Can we just move on with the vote? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Because
we
I think
just-
that there's no need to discuss details of the measure.
okay,
I
think-
understand staff is still, when it's closed because there's a motion on the floor and there's a second by Ray.
And Mayor,
He's just going to address one of the board members' comments.
I was going to address the board member's comment, Kerman. She said, who's in charge of this thing if a third-party group goes out and does a measure? That has to be written into the measure. Section 142 forms the Transportation Authority and develops their governing structure. What Section 142 says, if the sales tax ceases to be within 2 years, that whole section disappears. The section that creates the Transportation Authority and the governing structure. So that will have to be written in to any initiative ballot measure. They will have to rewrite the governing structure.
Correct.
And the how it's formed and all that, because that section in the state code completely disappears 2 years after the measure that we have developed
Expires.
disappears.
Yeah.
So it
So
would have
so
to
a
be
question,
reconstructed.
could it be written into a measure that the COG would be the authority, the body of authority?
That would have to be written into the measure.
Right. Yeah. So that is to say the governance structure would have to be completely recreated.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no guarantee how that would work out.
So I need a motion to reconsider.
I would like to make a motion to
Wait.
reconsider to negotiate.
Yeah. No, I need a motion.
I think
to
I already had a motion.
We
reconsider
have a motion on the
motion.
table.
I
That's what
think I already had a motion to.
Yeah, but this is just to allow that to happen.
Okay.
So I
make
need a motion to reconsider the motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion to reconsider the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Because you know how we took a vote, so this is a reconsideration of that last vote that we took place. Because we didn't have the discussion and most of them were confused on the motion or the vote that they made. We were doing it. So I have a motion for the reconsideration. Do I have a second?
I'll do a second.
Okay.
Okay, so then how does it work? You have two different motions on the table for the next part, right? So then we just like do a vote on that, or how does that work?
What was your motion?
Well, so I would like to freaking throw a Hail Mary right now, okay? I would like to make a motion to have another chance to sit at the table, see if we can negotiate this, and then get it on with, I'm going to take Supervisor, by his word that he's going to put it on the 27th. I'm going to trust him to do that and have a meeting before we get there. And see if we can't pull this together. I just feel like we need one last Hail Mary and then,
So I have to go with the first motion that was made and then we'll take a vote on that one. And if that one passes, then we'll go to the second motion. Go ahead. Roll call vote, please.
Well, let's be clear on what the
Uh,
motion is.
The same motion.
It's just the attorney.
That's what I'm being advised.
How,
The same.
because if the first motion carries, how do we do the second motion if the first
No,
motion?
we're doing the motion that you guys made.
I know, but if that carries, which is abandoning, how does the second motion even?
That if it does,
play into it?
if the first motion passes, we don't continue with the second.
Oh, okay. I just want to be clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's two motions on the floor.
No, there's one
No, she
motion
made
on the
motion.
floor.
There's one motion on the floor. Yeah.
There's one motion, but there's also another motion that may be considered. So go ahead. Roll call vote.
Can we,
Yeah, restate the motion, please. The first motion.
I'll jump in. This is Brian Rom, Agency Counsel. My understanding is that the motion on the floor, which has been seconded, is a motion to reconsider the prior failed motion.
Right.
Correct.
Which we already made that motion and second.
Then a roll call vote is appropriate
Mhm.
at this time.
That's what I was saying. Roll call vote, please.
Thank
City
you.
of
So we're voting on our initial motion.
Vote
Terry.
the first failed vote.
Yeah, so the motion to abandon, yeah. Mhm.
And the roll call vote, please.
City of Clovis,
Yes.
City of Coalinga,
Yes.
City of Fowler,
Yes.
City of Fresno,
Yes.
City of Huron,
Aye. Which is yes.
City of Kerman,
God, I hate this. Um, yes.
City of Mendota,
Yes.
City of Orange Cove, City of Parlier,
Yes.
City of Reedley,
No.
City of Sanger, Fresno County.
No.
Motion passed.
Motion passes. Okay. So now we need to, oh, I'm all confused because we kept going all over the place.
I lost audio for a second. Did it pass?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Innings that have passed 9-3, correct? Right.
yes.
That is correct.
If another motion wants, if a member wants to make another motion right now and have it seconded, that would be appropriate time.
What?
Okay.
I don't understand that. Or,
So if that's the emotion that you wanted to make, you
Oh.
can still make it.
well, I already voted yes on the other one.
All right, then,
Exactly.
then we'll disregard that. So the motion carried. No,
So the motion carried to consider.
the first
voting
motion,
again.
the
Right,
first motion that failed.
right. So now we have to vote again, right?
We revoted already. That's why.
That was to reconsider the vote. Now, don't you have to do the vote again?
Let me have the council.
Well, it would be nice for the council to speak up and say exactly what we're supposed to be doing here.
Give me one moment. I'm going to look up Robert's rules right now because that is the governing or the governing documents, just to be sure we're clear on it.
This is so hard. I don't want to
I'm
do it
warm.
anymore.
I need
Change my
water.
mind.
You guys just threw out $1 million.
Yep. What you did.
Oh, let me throw it.
So the approval of the motion to reconsider is effectively the approval of the original motion.
So that was this
Right.
approval of the first motion.
Correct.
That failed.
Thank you, County Council.
So we don't need to revote again because it's like a revote already.
Council, if we voted to reconsider the vote, it's a reconsideration. That means we then vote again.
To reconsider the vote that failed. So in other words, we're revoting on the failed vote. That's what he's saying.
I trust the council's,
No, and
Advice
I
on
think it
this?
makes sense because why would we go ahead and vote again and get the same, it's like,
Casey.
okay, all right, thank you. Item 3. Is there any administrative action?
I love you.
Being that there's no other administrative action on the agenda, any items from the staff?
This is just one quick thing, point of clarification here. This is a special meeting tonight to address this one item. We are still scheduled, I believe it's the 29th is our regularly scheduled COG meeting for January, and we are still having that. So this meeting does not replace the January 29th meeting. We hope to see you at the end of the month. So, thank you.
All right, and then any board member comments? None?
hey, this is Mayor Leon, City of
Okay.
Huron. Just want to wish everybody a happy new year. I'm sorry I cannot be there in person, but consider that
Thank you.
the warmth of the statement still stands.
Thank you for making the effort of being on Zoom. We appreciate your guys' time. I know that you couldn't make it personally here, but we thank you, Mejia and Leon. Thank you
Yes,
guys.
of course. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Okay, well, there's nothing else and meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Adios. Time for a
Adios.
break. A rato.